Hello everybody, it's Loading Wi-Fi. I haven't uploaded the video in quite some time, quite a while. I've been, doing other things here, but I'm happy to get back with one here. And today I'd like to talk about my experience with Forza Horizon 4 and why I think it is a great game, and still worth it to play in 2021. And before I really get started, my apologies. My neighbor is making some noise, so if you hear anything, that's also why I'm wearing this headset rather than speaking in the computer. So apologies in advance. But anyways, so to get started, I have personal experience with this game on the Xbox One base model, the Xbox One S, which is pretty much indistinguishable from the base model, and then most recently the Xbox Series X, so the next gen. And the control scheme I've used for all of these is just a regular old, originally the Xbox One controller, and then when I got the Series X, I used that controller. So just controller. Um, and before I really get into stuff, I would like to say that I believe this is one of the best Series X enhanced games there are so far. There's, as of the making of this video, there's not really, I don't think there's any Series X exclusive. Maybe like one or two indie games or something like that, but from Microsoft and third-party studios, there's no big AAA Series X exclusives yet. So what we're playing on it is enhanced older games, and I think this Forza Horizon 4 is one of the best enhanced older games to play. It's 4K 60 FPS, and that makes it feel so much smoother than the 30 FPS that it was on the regular models of consoles. And also the textures are really improved, and that's the big thing. I don't notice 4K too much, but I do notice textures, and the textures here are very much improved. The other thing is, honestly, debatably the biggest thing, the load times are fantastic on the next-gen consoles. So yeah, all those together, if you have enjoyed the game in the past or you want to kind of see what the next-gen consoles can do and you have a Series X or S, then Forza Horizon 4 is a good game for you to try that on. So, my personal experience with the game. I bought it on release on September 28th, 2018, as a freshman in college, just entering there. That would have been my first month. And that becomes relevant because my freshman year, I think a lot of freshmen or former freshmen will realize, get this, you have a lot of time, or at least I did. I'm sure some others are the same, because you're doing essentially almost like high school level classes, but you're doing way less of them. At least that was my experience. So, yeah. I had played Forza Horizon 3 in the past, a lot, and so I felt right at home with Forza Horizon 4. If you've played 3, it really feels similar to it gameplay-wise. 2 as well. I mean, they just really feel like similar games. Um, so when I started playing, the progression felt good. Though, like, it didn't really stick with me that much, my original playthrough. I mean, I liked it, but, one thing was you earned cars really, really, really slowly, and a lot of people didn't like that. But I actually personally like that a lot because I'm very much somebody who kind of likes to grind games, or at least I did, especially back then with all that time I was having freshman year. And so it made each car feel a lot more special when you got it, especially the more expensive ones, like a Ferrari should feel special when you get it in a game, not like it's just another thing. Um, so yeah, the progression felt good. The one thing is I didn't like the rarity levels because it made anything other than the top two, because there's, I believe, common, uncommon, rare, and then two higher levels. I think legendary and epic, or epic and legendary, or something like that. And, using anything other than lower than those two levels, they weren't worse cars necessarily. Some of the best cars are blues, but it just felt like, I don't know. I wish they just hadn't had the rarities. But I had a great initial playthrough, and I really appreciated it. Over the course of about a month, maybe, I kind of made my way through the game. I did all of the courses on all of the classes, so B, A, S1, S2, and I don't think they have an S class or an X class, excuse me, race, but you can get X class cars. And then, I had a lot of fun with that. And so during this time, I very rarely listen to podcasts or books, ebooks. I didn't ever listen to audiobooks, excuse me, while I was playing the game. I hadn't done audiobooks yet, but I didn't listen to podcasts or watch TV shows. And that's something I did a lot back then when I was playing a game. But this one was so engaging that I didn't feel the need to do that, which was a very big deal for me. Um, and so, once I'd done all that, I beat the campaign. I played some multiplayer, especially the games. I really like the games a lot. I played a lot of them with my brother um, through online. That was a ton of fun. And I did a little bit of online racing, but it wasn't really my thing. I more like the games, to be honest. Um, and so that was my initial experience with Forza Horizon 4. I liked it a lot. But then, we're not done. So fast forward to a couple months later, if I had to guess, I'd say March of 2019. So still my freshman year. Similar thing, I have a lot of time, and during this time, I'm getting really into listening to audiobooks. Um, I'm liking it a lot. I have an Audible membership. I'm, I really like it. Um, but the problem is, I can never just like sit and listen to an audiobook. I need to kind of do something during that. And so I walked. I went out for walks, which was fun, but I like to listen to them for a long time, and so a walk, I didn't want to walk for a long time. Um, Painting Warhammer miniatures, and I was actually listening to some Warhammer audiobooks. That was some of the books I was listening to, and that was fun. But again, I didn't want to paint for so long. It got a little tedious after a while, and I eventually found out that Forza Horizon 4 of all games is a really good game to have in the background and play like an audiobook in your ear or like podcast or watch a TV show in the background or something. And so what I did was I also figured out about custom matches, which let you do multiple laps. So rather than just like it would let you set the laps basically and set your class of car and all sorts of things, seasons. Um, so I realized this, and what I did is I just set up super long races and just had an audiobook on, and I did these races, and it became almost mindless, but it was so much fun because like the game for me was really just an excuse to do something while I was listening to an audiobook, and the main draw was the audiobook or podcast or TV show or whatever, but especially audiobooks. And I found out it was legitimately one of the best games for that, and I just blasted through and just did so much grinding while doing that. And again, freshman year, I really had a lot of time. Um, and that was great. But I never got into the multiplayer really. So that was, March to maybe April of 2019. Fast forward a little bit, a couple more months, I don't remember when exactly. But then I decided, I think I got recommended a video on YouTube that was basically like, it was about the multiplayer of Forza Horizon 4. And it was really, really cool. And I liked it a lot. And I ended up deciding, like I own this game. Sure, why not? Let me try it. And I did, and I got really into it. And I like trying to find like the competitive tunes and stuff, and finding the best tunes for my play style. And I really enjoyed playing the multiplayer. They'd made some additions too, like it's harder to purposely collide with people to run them off the road, and if you collide into barriers now, sometimes the best strategy used to be not actually racing, but just going top speed into a barrier and then just turning and going, rather than like braking for a turn because there's no penalties. So they made a penalty for that. And those two things together made it feel a lot more like actual racing. And I really just started to enjoy the multiplayer. I downloaded competitive tunes. I wasn't playing competitively. I'm really bad at the game, to be entirely honest. I mean, not really bad, but I'm not great. But, it was a lot of fun anyways, and so I had a great time with that. Uh, and then fast forward maybe a year at this point, November of 2020, my Series X gets here, and I'm thinking, well, what games, or maybe it was a little after that, whenever Forza Horizon 4 got enhanced, I was like, give that a shot. And then I played a lot of multiplayer again, and it was, fun to get back in with the tunes and stuff. So the point I'm trying to make with all this here is I've been in this game a lot, and I've gotten in and out and in and out, and I think it's a great game for that, and for a lot of different reasons. You know, each time I've gotten into it, I've wanted to do a different thing with it, and it's been different, and I've liked that. So that, you know, there's a lot to do. So I guess to the second part of the title here, why is it still good in 2021? Why should you want to try it in 2021? Well, personally, I feel it's the best controlling racing game I've ever played. I'm not super into the racing genre, so this is just casual, low me's opinion, but something about the controls, it feels like just the right mix between it's not so sim racing that it's really hard to get into, but it's not so casual that it doesn't feel like anything, you know? And so it's just the perfect balance. Keep in mind I'm using a controller, so you know who knows how it would be with a wheel or a mouse and keyboard, but you know on control it's great. Um, there's great difficulty settings. You can kind of get in, and it's very easy to get in. You know, set everything to easy, set rewinds on, because that's, you know, you press Y on the controller and you rewind a couple seconds if you mess up. Um, and it's so easy to get into. I got into Forza Horizon 3, so I was already kind of prepared for 4, but they share similar difficulty stuff. There's even more options in 4, but I remember in 3, you know, I turned the options all the way down, made it super easy. I'd never played a racing game before, and I was super able to get in. Um, and then when I started to get better at the game, I started turning the settings up, and you know, all right. And it's similar with 4. You can do very much the same with 4, and it gives you more credits if you put the difficulty higher too to buy better cars and stuff. So it's not like you're just setting the difficulty higher for no reason. Like it gives you a reward. Um, this is probably the most simple, obvious answer. There's a ton of cool cars. I mean, I'm a car guy. I like cars. I'm not gonna say whatever car you're imagining or wanting will be in the game, but a lot of them really will be. I mean, like, there's so much to choose from, and you know, then add tuning and customization in, and it's just even more. Like, it's just so many cars, so much you can do with the cars. It's awesome. Um, so another thing, it's a huge map. It's a gorgeous map. It's a well-designed map, probably most importantly. The seasons really bring some atmosphere to it. For those of you who don't know, it cycles every week between seasons, and that will actually change how the map works. To be honest, I don't know the difference between summer and autumn, but winter will get really slippery, and you know, I mean, think winter driving, and it'll make the whole map that way. Although you can do custom races in different seasons if you don't want to have that. And then spring will make it slippery for a different reason. It's raining a lot, you know, it's less slippery than winter, but and then summer and autumn, it's dry, perfect conditions. And so that seasons, you know, it gives it a lot of replayability just with those seasons, and it just aesthetically the map changes. You know, it doesn't feel like you're looking at the same thing all the time, and it really adds to the replayability. So there's tons of depth with customizing, tuning, and skins for your cars you can do. This is not an area I've really gotten into. I've downloaded other people's tunes a lot, but I haven't really started doing my own. That's just not my thing. But for those of you who would like that, you know, that's there for you. There's so much depth. It is fun to download other people's skins for me, even if I'm not making my own and other people's tunes. So I kind of go, but I don't do that myself. But you know, for those of you who like it, there's a lot there. Um, there's not a lot of new racing games, which is kind of sad, but like the last AAA game I can think of after Forza Horizon 4 is Gran Turismo. And even then, that's on PlayStation, so you know, if you just have an Xbox, this is the most recent racing game released. Which, you know, more racing games would be better, but you know, still. So the other thing is, since there's not been another Forza game or even another Forza Horizon game, Um, the player base is still there for the multiplayer, at least on console, from what I can. I gestured over there because that's where my console is. Sorry if that just looked like. But, you know, there's still a player base, and it's still relevant. So, there's two really, really, really good expansions. Maybe that was a little overhyped, but there's kind of an off-road one, Storm Island, and I like that a lot. Dirt racing, off-road. That was a lot of fun. And then there's like almost a Lego RPG where like you have to complete races and like put a house together and like put different Lego things together and build them. And it's really interesting. And I liked it a lot. So, and now this is another thing I don't engage with, but it's cool for those who want it. There's a lot of cool live service features that come out. So, even if somehow you manage to get through everything and you're bored and you've still got new stuff, you've still got this live service, like you can get different cars, unlock achievements. There's stuff going on, and see you can continue to replay it. There's Game Passes. It's on Game Pass, so if you have Game Pass, it's free to just go for. If there's any doubt, watching this video, do I want it or not? If you have Game Pass, may as well try it. Um, as I said earlier, it's a great Series X and S game. We don't have a ton of those games out yet, so it's nice to have one that utilizes the power of the console pretty well. Um, Multiplayer gives more replayability, and it's a lot of fun. And just in general, there's tons of content. So a general theme that you may have picked up on is there's so much to do. There's so much. It's a game that you can really just get into, and that's part of what makes it for me so good to listen to like audiobooks for. It's just you can just do it. Like you can do something in the background, you just play this game and it's great. So, yeah, in conclusion, I think it's a great game. I think you should give it a shot, especially if it's on, if you have Game Pass, it's free. The expansions are fun. I mean, hell, Forza Horizon 3 as well. You can hop on and try that for a lot of the same reasons I've been talking about with 4. That's on a Game Pass, so you have to get that physical. So maybe with Forza Horizon 3, like if you play 4 and you really like it, 3 will be similar enough that you can hop in and also, so, even once you finish 4, there's more to do. Um, so yeah, that's my thoughts on the whole thing. Thank you so much for listening, and yeah, I'm glad I got to talk about a game I like for 20 minutes. So have a great morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you're watching, everybody. Bye bye.